the agenda, Lozano's going to investigate what Susan Rubio's bringing up. It's like the fox in the chicken house. You guys created it. You guys did it. Why are you going to investigate it? You know what you're doing. You're allowing this Sid Masabi to go here with a free reign and run up to 120,000. If he runs over that, then he divides up the contracts. And I'm telling all the directors over here, or not directors, you better beware, because we're watching you too. And your jobs are on the line too. And you can be in trouble with this thing too. There's federal crime on that. Then we've got the paying the Sid Masabi on the planning. You know what we pay Sid Masabi to look at plans? 65% of the planning fee. 65%. We have one of his people on staff, $120 an hour, that we pay over here also on top of that, because of our buddy Pacheco that gets cash money, and Manny and Monica got money when Sid had his new program that they were going to get $120,000, and it's all on their joke. You don't know how to run businesses. The thing that you know how to do is steal money from the taxpayers. You don't know how to run a business. You need to let the people that you hired run businesses and quit making them puppets, because that's all they are right now, is puppets. Your city manager's a puppet. Anybody over here is a puppet. I'm not including Amy, but I'm just saying they are puppets. That's why 2 left, Dan Wall left, and Mark left, because they had enough of your stuff, and they're not going to put up with it. And they will be testifying when we do go to court. And Pacheco, you still are going to court. So any of the documents that I've said are here. If anybody wants to see them, I have them here, and you can see that's not a lie. And $52,000 you pissed away to try to shut me up. It's going to take a lot more money than that to shut me up. You can clap. Good. Good. Can you walk?
Okay, continuing on with the public communication. Requested by Councilmember Cruz Baca, which is the warrants and demands. Councilmember?
Yes, and this is very appropriate as a follow-up to what Mayor Pro Tem Garcia said, because this is a prime example of wasting time. I have here the warrants and demands, a copy of the warrants and demands. Del Sol Solutions, which 2 weeks ago they were not able to give me any real concrete reasons, and I have their new invoices in front of me, and I'll go over them right now. We paid them $15,600 August the 2nd, which includes 2 or 3 invoices. Now, when I see 2 or 3 invoices all clumped in together like that, I start to wonder, how can a company stay afloat and not bill every month? What is they're hiding that they don't want me to look at, or they don't want someone to look at in order for them to justify their invoices? They have here that they are looking into grants for musical instruments of $8,000 through the Fender Foundation, and met with Eurico and Maria on June the 16th over at the park. They have also met with Kaiser Permanente in regards to another $25,000 for Walnut Creek, which I feel that Manny Carrillo has always come up with the grants, and his staff, as far as Walnut Creek and a lot of our parks. I don't see why we're paying someone at the tune of $3,900 a month in order for them to do the same results and do everything that our staff is already doing. So we're paying a consultant, plus we're paying our staff for what they're doing. I have copies of this, and it's public record, if anyone, of the check dated August the 2nd for $15,600 to Del Sol. I have yet to see a report from them. I have yet to see a presentation from them. All that I see are things that are hypothetical, that are in the pipeline, and yet there's invoice after invoice that's piling up here at the tune of, again, $15,600. The next one that was on the warrants and demands was the AIM consultants. And the AIM consultants take it even a step further. The AIM consultants charge $172.41 an hour. This is what they have on their line item. Monthly internal strategy outline preparation, 3 hours. Internal. Isn't our staff also working on that? That was from June the 2nd. The other one is meeting update with members Pacheco and Garcia. For 6 hours. That was close to $1,000. What could have been discussed for 6 hours when these two council members can't even sit here for 3 hours without leaving?
Oh my God.
And they say that we're wasting time. 6 hours at $172.41 an hour. Here's another one on June the 23rd. Phone call update with M. Carrillo for June 21st meeting with members Pacheco and Garcia. Again, it was half an hour, so it's half of $172. So it's $85 that we paid them so that they can confer with Manny Carrillo about the meeting that they had with Garcia and Pacheco. It goes on and on. This is in our packet. I didn't make this up. I take it back. I requested it. It is public record. I requested this particular one. Then there's also you, Mayor Lozano. You met with them for an hour and a half. It says on progress of implementation strategy. What was that? What implementation strategy of what? On June the 28th. On June the 29th, they met with D. Velas of the Bike SGV. And from what I understand, like I said earlier, that implementation of that bike safety is being done by 3 different consultants, including what council member at that time, Marlon Garcia, had started in 2011, along with the supervisor's office at that time, which was Gloria Molina. Now, on June 30, there's another 4 hours to meet with Mr. Isaac Cuchilla regarding development and operation of app relative to creation of Ballpark community calendar. I have no clue what that app is that they're talking about, because I remember that we've introduced apps for people to call code enforcement or check with code enforcement or to check with our public works. Anyway, they charged 40 and a half hours at the tune of $6,982.61. That check was written on August the 4th. I think that we need to stop payment on this. And there is proof of this, because these are records that I requested going back starting a month ago in regards to all checks paid to consultants. I was very specific when I sent my email to Shannon, our CEO, and I didn't bring them today because it's volumes of invoices and checks that I have gone line by line to see what they're charging for, who is cross-referencing with who is having meetings for 6 hours. I would like to know where they met for 6 hours. Was it, because it was during the week, it was on a Tuesday. So it had to have been in the evening, because I believe that both Pacheco and Garcia work, unless it was a day when they took the day off. But I really feel, and the other thing is that they're charging for conferring with council members about certain things. Why should we be paying for that? They should be coming to us and giving us the report. And that's what I would like to see, instead of them just giving us some flimsy report and we're putting out all this money. I want payments to stop until we can investigate this. To all the consultants, and including all of the infrastructure, advanced infrastructure, AAE, or whatever else they're called. I want all payments to stop until we can hold off in paying some of these invoices. That was my motion, that we hold off, in particular the AIMS. I know that these have already been paid, but in the future, I would like for the AIMS or the September warrants and demands, I would like for AIMS and for the Del Sol to please be held for further investigation. That is my motion.
Okay, there's a motion, second. Any objections?
I object.
Okay, one objection. Madam City Treasurer, roll call.
Yes.
Councilmember Susan Rubio,
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia.
No.
Mayor Manuel Lozano.
No, the motion fails. The vote is 3-2. All right, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and go to item B. Yes, go.
Mr. Mayor,
Council, go ahead.
we need a motion to approve or deny warrants and demands.
Oh, okay. All right, so at this point, Anyone wishing to,
Motion to approve warrants on demand.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Second?
I
Any objection? Okay, Madam City Treasurer, there's a objection.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco,
Yes.
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz Baca.
No.
Mayor, if I can just add a quick note for the person that's reviewing those invoices, I'm not sure who would handle that, but just, if you could have a very close eye on these invoices just to help address some of the concerns.
Councilmember Susan Rubio,
No.
Mayor Manuel Lozano.
That's everybody. You did it.
Yes, okay, so the motion passes 3-2.
But one of the reasons that I put it on the agenda, at the end of the agenda, is right now, Councilmember Pacheco said, we don't sign it, we don't see it, it's pretty much on staff, because they sign it. But let me tell you, we did that to them. Because we used to have a cap of $10,000 where the staff could only approve $10,000. And then if it was past $10,000, then the CO would have to approve 25. If it were more than 25, then it would have to come to the council. And what the council majority here did is they raised that cap to $125,000. That means anything under $125,000 we don't get to see. So I apologize if we're wasting people's time, but guess what? We get to see it after the contracts for over $100,000 are approved, and I have two. And we get to see it after the work has been done, and then we find out after. So of course, after we're gonna have to get the information and question it. Now, you said it's staff's responsibility. I think it's our responsibility. The residents of Baldwin Park elected us to be responsible for that money, and at the end of the day, when things don't go right, they're gonna question us. And I don't feel comfortable answering those questions when I don't even know what the money's being spent. The agenda item that I have on the agenda is pleading with the council members to bring it back to the original price, taking that responsibility away from our employees, because really that's a big responsibility for them to carry. If something goes wrong with the project, we get to say, just like we heard right now, I don't sign it, I didn't do it, it's not us, it's staff. Well, I don't want it to be staff. We were elected, we're responsible, whether we succeed or fail, we take the blame. And so I really want to plead with the council to go back to the 10, so we take that burden away from our employees. I don't know how you guys can handle being responsible for $120,000 case. And then at the end of the day, see this discussion, it goes back to you, staff sign it. That's exactly right. We should be signing it. We should be responsible. The people didn't elect staff to spend $120,000. And if you have 10 projects like around $100,000, that's $1 million we don't get to see, we don't get to approve, we don't get to spend, and we are responsible. So I really want the responsibility back on the council. So I plead, Mayor, I think that knowing that, see, this discrepancy came about because we raised that cap. So let's get rid of the discrepancies. Let us be responsible again. Let's bring it back down to 10,000 and 25 so we don't have to blame staff. And we can be responsible. I'm willing to take that responsibility because we were elected to be good stewards of this money, and I really plead with you, Mayor, that we put it on the agenda next time, and let's go back to the original price. Thank you, Mayor.
$25,000 cap. The city was able to function without it for the longest time when VJ was the city manager. As much as I was not a fan of VJ's, I do have to say that the city did function, even though it was at a snail's pace, but it did function before the $125,000. When you give a cap of $125,000, you do have, I'm not talking about our staff, I totally rely on our staff to come up with the grants and the things and get the work done. But outside sources come in, and it's very easy for them to manipulate that $125,000 or more monies that's going on. So that is why I would like to, at least until we can investigate these allegations or whatever they are that we have found, I would really like to lower the cap to 10,000, as Councilmember Rubio said, until we get all this clarified, so that we don't end up like South El Monte, Cudahy, Vernon, and the city of Maywood. I strongly advise that, for us to do that at this.
Having 10,000, that was the existing cap. That's how we functioned for so long. Let me ask Sam Gutierrez. Sam, you came from West Covina, correct?
Correct.
Do you know what the cap is in West Covina?
It's 10,000 for the public works director, and it's 30,000 for the city manager.
City of West Covina, 10,000 cap for department heads And you said 35 for CEO.
30,000 for the.
30,000. That is the typical. I've asked a couple, I mean, there might be an exception, I don't know, but a few cities that I asked, they all follow these limits because ultimately there is room for mismanagement. Now, Councilmember Monica Garcia said that she relies on staff, and so do we. But, and you also said there's checks and balances, so I'm going to be very specific about checks and balances. So if anybody wants to write this down, and I will provide copies at a later time for the council members. I have a contract here for $106,510 for the San Gabriel River Bikeway Project design phase. This contract was signed by our staff, approved by our staff, April 4th, 2016. I have two checks here. One for $5,325, February 16, when this contract didn't exist. I have another check of $10,651 for the month of March. Once again, when this contract didn't exist. So I'm wondering, how do we have a contract that was signed in April and we've paid $15,000 for February together with March? How does that happen? If this is our checks and balances, then I think we're in trouble. I've looked, I've asked, and I've tried to justify these, and I still can't find the answers. Now, I'm not saying anybody's to blame, but this is the reason why we need to bring it back so that we can be more careful how we spend our money. I would like to really reach out to this company that I have here because I want those $15,000 back. The contract is here, and because he says that I make things up, I want legal counsel to look at it. If you don't mind, can you tell me when this contract was signed?
April 4, 2016.
Can you read the dates on the checks for $15,000? One for 5, one for 10.
$229.16. $1,325.50.
What's the next one?
The next date is 3/31/16. The next amount is $10,651.
Once again, and the contract didn't exist. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, I'd also like to see if we get some money back from the contractor who did the Civic Center because work was not completed and they got paid. I want to know why they got paid more money than was actually allocated. So,
I want to agendize that, or what do you?
no, we're just looking, I mean, you have your agenda to review all this, so we can do it at that time.
Okay, all right.
Mayor, and
Yes,
just
Councilman.
really important because, you know, I know that Dan Wall was our Public Works Director, and I don't want any insinuation somehow that he did something inappropriate. Because it kind of seems, right, he's gone, he'll probably get the blame. So what I did is I did further research. And I wanted to know what he recommended. I have 2 staff reports here that he asked for. He asked several companies to submit their proposals. And there was 4 companies that submitted their proposal. And he went with, I think it's called Somas. What is it? What's the name? Do you know the company?
Yeah, you're correct, it is Somas.
Okay, that was his recommendation. It's in a form of a staff report. That was his recommendation because this company had done the bike project for LA County and he had experience. It was the best price, you know, according to him, and that was his recommendation. Not only once, twice. They came once in the form of the agenda item to a council meeting and it was pulled by Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco. It came back a second time because this was his recommendation. Once again, it got pulled. And at the end of the day, we ended up with this company that we're discussing. So I just want to clarify, Dan Wall is not to blame. He had his recommendation, and for some reason, his recommendation wasn't followed. Right now, Councilmember Monica Garcia said, we put trust in our employees, we trust that they're going to make the right decisions. Well, guess what? Mr. Dan Wall did, and somehow his recommendation did not, somehow it wasn't taken, and we ended up with this other company. And so once again, we need to bring those caps down. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Councilman. Yes, Councilman Ricardo Pacheco.
again, this is a staff issue. If it's supposed to go here, you're blaming staff again. I mean, you're trying to say, well, yes, you are. It goes through staff. Staff's the one that approves all these invoices, contracts, so no one's working on it. So, you know, from what you're telling me there, it points back to the former Director of Public Work, but we'll look into it some more.
Absolutely,
So-
I have to say, I do not blame Dan Watt, and I hope everyone heard it clearly. He had his recommendation. I mean, staff can only do so much. He not only recommended it once, he recommended it twice. So once again, I want to make sure that Dan Watt is somehow, his name does not get muddy here, because he did not bring this new company. His recommendation is here. It's in form of record. If anybody wants to see it, I'll provide it. So that was his recommendation. Now, if something went wrong with the company that he recommended, I can totally see we can blame him for it. But we did not take his recommendation. We rejected it twice. So at this point, I just really want to take Dan Wall's name out of the equation because I don't want somehow to be any insinuation that somehow he is to blame for this, and I'm not blaming staff.
Mayor?
Yes,
I
Councilman
don't know,
Ricardo.
do the investigation, we're involved. I mean, this is all staff, works on all these invoices. I'm sure we can ask, you know, the contractors and staff what, you know, how this all happened. I mean, I don't know, there's an explanation, but we have to get down to it. But Mayor, I guess,
Yes, sir.
Councilwoman Ruby, do you want to make a motion and then we can move on?
Yes, I've already pleaded with the mayor.
No, I asked you to make a motion.
Yes, that we move forward with next council meeting to bring back the $10,000 cap and $25,000, and we could do 30 like West Covina. West Covina is a much larger city than ours, and they manage with $30,000 cap. Why can't we? So my motion is, Mayor, that we allow this, at least to bring it back until we can kind of look at some of these, you know, items, and let's figure out where the money's going and where it's going and why it's going. We cannot just say, let's look into it. That's not good enough. I really want to make clear that I'm pleading with the mayor and the council members to bring it back down to the original cap. If West Covina, that's a bigger city, can handle it with 30,000, so can we. So Mayor, that's my motion.
Okay, so there's a motion, is there a second?
Yes, I second.
To vote on it, thank
All
you.
right, so at this point, it was motion by Councilmember Susan Rubio, second by Councilman Cruz Baca. Okay, and then there was one objection.
Yes.
Madam City Clerk, at this point, yes, please.
Can I clarify the motion?
Yes, sir. So basically, there's a motion for it to go, directing staff to bring it back so that it would be reduced to about 30.
Yes,
Okay.
directive to staff.
Right, people, staff, thank you.
Councilmember Susan Rubio,
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz Baca,
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia,
No.
Mayor Manuel Lozano.
No, the motion fails 3-2. We
I'll do a
took,
substitute motion. I do a substitute motion.
okay,
I do a substitute motion that we bring this back at the next council meeting for consideration of the $10,000 for our different department heads and $30,000 for the CEO.
okay, there is a motion on the floor at this
And
point.
I'll second it.
And second it?
Object.
And, okay, one objection, Madam City Clerk, or City Treasurer. Roll
Councilmember
call.
Cruz Baca,
Yes.
Councilmember Susan Rubio,
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Monica Garcia,
No.
Mayor Manuel Lozano.
No, motion fails. The substitute motion fails. The vote is 3-2. All right, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and move on.
I'm still
yeah,
at number
go ahead.
one, believe it or not.
No, that's fine. I got all night.
At one, so do I.
Mayor Manuel Lozano, along with Ricardo Pacheco and Monica Garcia, were elected by the voters to represent the community and do what is in the best interest of the residents. As you can see, they are more concerned with making sure these corporations continue to receive payments. There are a lot of unanswered questions and unjustified payment of invoices. So why would Ricardo Pacheco, Manuel Lozano, and Monica Garcia not agree with council members Cruz Baca and Susan Rubio to stop future payments and lower the staff authorization limit back down to $10,000 for directors and $25,000 for the CEO until an investigation is completed? Because Pacheco, along with Lozano and Garcia, are getting a piece of the pie. It is a known fact that AAE Incorporated pays off and bribes politicians with cash envelopes, which is why they were investigated by the FBI in 2011. Sid Masabi, who owns AAE Inc., was the city's public works director and interim CEO from 1992 to 1998. In August of 1998, Sid Masavi, the city's public works director, was awarded a contract which was approved on a 3-2 vote. This deal allowed Sid Masavi to still work 30 hours a week at $71 an hour for the city of Baldwin Park. Isn't it ironic that in November of 1998, Sid Masavi then went on to incorporate Advanced Applied Engineering Incorporated. This only 3 months after he was awarded the contract while being the city's public works director. Ricardo Pacheco, Manuel Lozano, and Monica Garcia have allowed for Sid Masavi and his corporations to milk the taxpayers' money. We are in a deficit, and for the majority of the city council not to investigate the misuse of taxpayers' money just shows that they are not only the problem, but are part of the corruption. Mayor Manuel Lozano, Ricardo Pacheco, Monica Garcia, and these corporations need to be investigated by the FBI or the Department of Justice. On June 2nd, 2014, 2 former Baldwin Park employees accused Ricardo Pacheco of retaliation for refusing to provide favors and concessions to friends and family members. The level of corruption at City Hall is out of control and must be stopped.